Once again, the White House and the executive it shelters commands the interest of the world. Attention that's riveted on the signing by President Kennedy of Cuba. Action that follows the shocking discovery that Soviet Russia is converting the island into a ballistic missile base. A beachhead from which nuclear attacks could be unleashed on all the Americas, as these pictures by the Defense Department graphically reveal. Visual, incontrovertible evidence of a massive build-up and long-range radar setups. Latin America reacted quickly to President Kennedy's disclosure of the Kremlin's perfidy. Meeting in Washington, the Organization of American States voted 19-0 to join the United States to halt the flow of weapons to Cuba from Russia. The most inspiring display of New World unity since World War II. At United Nations headquarters in New York, the Cuban crisis is the one and only subject of discussion. And the emergency meeting of the Security Council requested by President Kennedy is tense as Castro's delegate takes his place. The brazen Soviet attempt to use Cuba to extend its aggressions poses the Council's most critical situation, prompting a resolution calling for an ending of the Kremlin criminality by Adlai Stevenson, who solemnly points out.
The issue which confronts the Security Council is grave. Were it not, I should not have detained you so long. Since the end of the Second World War, there has been no threat to the vision of peace so profound, no challenge to the world of the Charter so fateful. The hopes of mankind are concentrated in this room. The action we take may determine the future of civilization. I know that this Council will approach the issue with a full sense of our responsibility and a solemn understanding of the import of our deliberations.
Meanwhile, at the U.S. Guantanamo Naval Base in Cuba, the members of the families of men stationed there are being evacuated in the face of the crisis caused by the blockade. They are being returned to the United States, most of them to Norfolk, Virginia. Naturally, every unit of the U.S. Armed Services, led by the Air Force, is being advanced to a perfection of combat readiness, an achievement preceding deployment to wherever necessary to guard the shores of the United States and all its Western Hemisphere allies. The measures are strictly defensive, as offensive action is in no wise contemplated. Their duty will be strictly retaliatory if there's a communist attack anywhere in the New World. United States Marines again living up to the great traditions of their glorious past, ready for any eventuality. One of the sidelights of the crisis is the rush by Cuban exiles in Florida to enlist in the U.S. Army. Every day, refugees from Sovietized Cuba are besieging U.S. recruiting posts. At every air base in the United States, planes of every type are readied to retaliate against any aggression. At this moment, every ship in the force is ready to take to the air should the issue be forced. Every bomber has its load, and every fighter its strafing power. It's an air armada that hasn't a superior in the world. A sea of planes that on a moment's notice can be in the air to avenge any communist strike. America's famed GIs are also combat ready. Every regiment trained and armed to meet any challenge. That line marks the area the U.S. Navy is patrolling to a line that must not be violated. With 4 approaches, it is the taboo sign for ships carrying offensive weapons to Cuba. However, if examination shows a ship to be transporting supplies necessary for the well-being of the Cuban people, she will be permitted to continue. Otherwise, a ship must turn back, or else. The U.S. will not add to the miseries Castro is inflicting on the helpless isle. It's a far-flung and testing operation, but the U.S. Navy is now handling it humanely and effectively. Though Russia has perpetrated one of the most disgraceful deceits in the history of international relations, and its fleet will honor the ordinary rules of decency. But let this be known. The U.S. blockade Russians abandoned their nefarious buildup of missile sites on the island.